spill the theories, here to spill some theories. As you might have seen by the title of this video, it will be a little different from any other videos that I do, which are mostly theories about everything related to Little Nightmares. Today, I will show 10 things that players could and probably missed in Little Nightmares and its DLC. Hope you guys will like this video. But, quick reminder that this video contains spoilers. If you haven't played any of the Little Nightmares games, I suggest you look away. You have been warned. Of course, if you're a fan of Little Nightmares, I suggest you view some more of my other videos. And if you enjoy my content, please consider subscribing. It would mean the world to me. Alright, let's move on to this video. This detail remains pretty small, but it could mean something bigger. In the first chapter of the main Little Nightmares game, when we enter the children's playroom, we can see that there is a cigarette extinguisher. This most likely belonging to the adult who was watching them. Now, who could this adult be? The only adult, I believe, that we see smoking a cigarette is one of the twin chefs. Though I don't believe he is the one that watches the children since he's probably needed in the kitchen. The only one who has to watch the kids is the janitor. Does this maybe conclude that the janitor smokes? I mean, he can do whatever he wants, but I don't think smoking is what this guy needs. You know what I mean? Right at the beginning of the Little Nightmares DLC, most players quickly caught on to the fact that it takes place in the same environment as 6's story. While we are making our way down to the bottom floor, we once again encounter one of the eyes that turn the player into stone. The thing is that in this storyline, the bed that was in the main game that 6 used to hide behind isn't there anymore. Now, only after a bit of gameplay, we finally see that the DLC takes place at the same time as 6's adventure. So what would have caused this bed to fall down to the bottom floor, or did someone remove it? I don't believe that it was removed since the runaway kid actually encountered the all-seeing eye before 6 did. Could this maybe be the janitor's doing? He's the only one that is strong enough to possibly lift that bed. Okay, yeah, this title is a bit odd, I have to say, but bear with me. In the beginning of the second chapter of the main game, we get to see where the janitor lives. We even get to see a very handsome picture of the one and only. If 6 makes her way to the left side of the screen and climbs up on top of a wardrobe, there's a hanging pair of legs. We could argue that it's a pair of pants, but it looks like there's feet at the end of them, and they look longer than the janitor's own legs. So what could this mean? This one is pretty small, but I believe it could hint at some deeper stuff about our dear friends, the leeches. After 6 gets her first hunger spurt, she walks through a lit shower room. Keyword lit. Yet after going through the small puzzle to turn off the power and get through the metal bars, leeches appear in now the darkened shower room. They seem to always hang out in the dark places of the mall. This is something that we have actually seen before. By this, I mean the mannequins and the shadow kids who really despise light. This detail is located right at the beginning of the third Little Nightmares chapter, the kitchen. In the main kitchen area, you can see a white cloth hanging on some rope as if it were there to be dried. One thing about the cloth though is that it has a huge blood stain on it. I would just like to add that for a horror game that has a lot of killing in it, the environment of Little Nightmares does lack the sight of blood. By this, I mean we don't see that much blood in a game that's pretty much all about killing, if you will. The main question about this is, whose blood is it? This one might seem a bit odd to some once again, and believe me, when I noticed it, I felt the same. So once again, in the kitchen chapter of Little Nightmares, 6 ends up in the twin chef's bedrooms to retrieve a key she needs to open a door to continue her adventure. Once she retrieves the key and starts heading over to the elevator to go down, there's a very well hidden picture on the wall. This is the picture in question. Personally, this is a photograph or a painting of a small, unique-looking child. My initial thought is that this is one of the twin chefs as a child, only because the picture is in their living area. But this could be very wrong, and it could just be a random child that used to live in this living area with his or her parents. I would just really like to know who the child is and whose child is it, and most important of all, is it someone we know now? This is something I myself didn't really notice at first. We are all too familiar with the infamous chase scene in Little Nightmares. Although, right before the chase begins, pay really close attention to where the guests are. They all appear to have been stuffed in rooms in big groups with possibly no food, no water, nor tables and chairs like most of the other guests in attendance. These guests, I believe, were possibly the ones awaiting to be killed by the twin chefs to then be fed to future guests. At the end of the main game, Six has to defeat the lady using an oval mirror that isn't broken like all the other ones we see in her residence. But when looking at when the runaway kid was in the lady's residence, there was also the same mirror or a very similar looking one laying on the floor. However, this mirror was in pieces. This, to me, helps to prove one of my theories about past children being past ladies. The previous child who defeated the old lady using the same mirror Six did, and after a number of hits, let's call them, the mirror breaks and the lady is defeated. But the child then becomes the next lady or ruler of the maw, just like Six. Once again, in the third Little Nightmares DLC, when the runaway kid has to solve the picture puzzle, there are two headless ceramic children in the middle of the room. These kids remind me a lot of the porcelain children in Little Nightmares 2, mainly because of the very similar looking uniform. Now, the question is, are these the real ones or are they a recreation? Let's just hope they aren't real. By now, you've got to have noticed the eye doors all around the mall and in the mainland. There's also no door without an eyeball symbol on it, actually. I believe there is no door in the game without an eye on it. If you can prove me wrong, please comment and I'll reply. I promise. Anyway, these eyeballs are round and, well, look like eyes. Keyword round. But when we take a look at the janitor's door to his workshop in the main game, the eye is different. The shape that surrounds is a triangle. Let's put that aside for a minute. This is a picture I found on the internet. These are what I call the eye systems, and there are 4 found in everything related to Little Nightmares. The broadcast matches the one on the janitor's door. This could be a hint to another theory of mine, the one about how the janitor's monster form was created in the signal tower, the source of the broadcast. This triangle eye could suggest this in a very low-key way. Well, that's it. Those were 10 details that player could and possibly missed in Little Nightmares. How many of those did you know? I'd really love to know. Once again, this is purely based on what I believe and what I researched. You always have room to decide what you believe is true and what isn't. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe and comment on some of your theories. Take care and I will see you guys soon for more theory spills.